gonna start recording. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the fourth session. Fourth session? I don't know. Oops, wrong one. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Yeah, you don't. That's too much. Nobody said anything like that. Nobody even uttered the words. I don't know, man. I don't know. For the people that wait, who has having issues with the Toon Boom? Wait, who said? Oh, so you have to do something else. What was this? What session is this? 3? Wait, I was gonna put activity 4. Yeah, activity 4. Electric Boogaloo. Okay. Where did I put y'all guys here? Okay. Oh, sorry. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's not real. Sorry about that. Using rigging, so had to. Okay, so we're gonna be doing the. Wait. I need to look at the syllabus. I'm good, guys. I'm good. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, so first off, let's get into it. I can't afford having what's that called? A makeup class. That's the thing. So that's also hard though, because I have to then. Yeah. Usually though, what I do, because I make everything from scratch, guys. Like literally while we talk and while we do everything. So that's why it's hard to do asynchronous, because I told you guys I'm going to make everything from scratch, which is true. I am literally doing it right now. So I'm just renaming everything. First, I'm going to name this Ruffs. Sack. And first things first, I'm just going to make a ground. So I'm going to make a new drawing. I'm going to call this ground. Make sure to change the layering by just dragging it down. And then I'm just going to make probably a darker green. Yo, somebody please do not type so loud. Whoever that is. I think it's this blue. Was it Kale? I think it was yeah, Jovins. They were typing really loud, like really loud. Oh, then who was it? Well, then who was it? We'll never. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, don't do that. So right now we'll just leave it until frame 60. And we're just going to make a quick rough. So I'll probably be pretty quiet for this because we've done this so many times before. I'm just going to make a rough where it's starting over here and then it jumps to this side here. So first off, I'm obviously just going to make the part where he's just standing. Probably just so this is up to you how you want to make him look. For me, I'm just making a simple, like, he's chilling. He's just, yeah, he's like a little sack. There you go. He's sad. I don't know who Smitty is. So this one in particular, this animation is not going to loop. I just exported it, or sorry, not exported, but extended it so that it's easier to, well, I don't need to extend it actually. I'm just going to be drawing new drawings. So I have my onion skin on now. And again, make sure you're using the by drawings so that you can see it, even if I extend it all the way to the end or move scrub around. So I just have it like this. It's just easier. So I'm going to do the next keyframe. Probably by frame 40. Won't take him too long. Frame 31. He'll be like this. So if you have trouble with that, maintaining the, what's that called? Volume, I would suggest first just tracing it. So I'm just going to trace that out. So it's starting to resemble kind of like a body. So he's happy he's landed. So I can even push this pose first if I wanted to. And then I'm just going to move it to the side. So probably over here. So this is going to be basically what we usually do always, where we always do the roughs. So we have our two keyframes, our main keyframes. And now, since I have those main keys, I always like to just mark them as such that they're main keys. Now I'm going to put that anticipation. So anticipation frames are basically what its names are, where they, let me check first if I'm, yeah, okay. Overlapping will follow through, secondary action, okay. So just like before when I explained it the first session, we are anticipation is supporting that main what's that called, main action. Yes, thank you. Can't remember words. I'm going to make the breakdown first between this frame and this frame, so that's where he's up in the air. So I'm just going to make one quick drawing. So frame 15. So I'm just going to make him oh, the typing. I don't know who it is. If I can find them, I'm gonna mute them. I made it 31, but obviously this is subject to change because I might want to change the timing for this. So everything's not set in stone. He is jumping. So I was just using the first frame as a reference to the size. So I noticed for some of you guys is jumping balls, I think if it's you guys, that are not jumping balls, but the bouncing balls, that they lose their volume in the mid jump, like in the mid part where they're falling and or jumping back. So just make sure to avoid that by simply, like what I do, I just simply trace this frame here, or the last frame, and then just adjust accordingly. So for this one, for example, I stretched him kind of. So technically I stretched him sideways. So I just made sure that if I stretch him like this, the height or the width of the height of it would be pushed down, and then the width of it would be stretched out like that. So yes, I am recording. Yeah, y'all, it's right here. Thank you. The recording, yeah, the recording, because what's that called? The OBS doesn't, oh sorry, Discord doesn't have a recording thing, so you use just a different program. I just use OBS since it's, you just press record. So now I have that breakdown. And now let's do the anticipation. That was me, by the way, guys. It's somebody outside. So anticipation, it is just anticipating the main action. So this sad boy, what we can do is, since he's already like this, let's make him, so he's like this. So when he anticipates, we can do a multitude of things. We can make him step backwards into a pose like this. So something like where he's looking up like this, where he has his foot kind of like upwards. And then he's like kind of looking up. Kind of like he steps back. So he'd even rotate like this. Or his head would look up this way, but his body would rotate that way. So it'd be very dynamic. Or we can do something like very simple, where he just simply, you know, so starting from this one, we would squish him downwards more. So something like this. Something like that. So you'll notice here again, it still looks like the same bag, just because again, I applied that squash and stretch that we did last week, where I always make sure that when I squash something, I make sure to stretch it out on the sides. Or if I stretch something, I make sure to stretch out the width and not the height. So these kind of body lines help with the how I want to, where I'm facing it and how the body is contouring. Yeah. So it looks like, it does look like that Pikachu. So I'm going to keep this. I like this pose. And you'll notice for the ears or the hands, once it moves forward or the body moves forward, the hands are moving backwards, or the ears. So here, it's like this, and then once the action is going down, the ears will go the opposite direction. So I'll show you guys once I start doing that. Right now, I'm going to keep this by just, and then probably by frame 9. Boop. Then move that along. So it's important when you're having animation that is like on the ground to always actually ground your character. So for example, if I squish him down, his feet will stay in the same exact place no matter what I do. Because in reality, when we're doing things like jumping or moving around, we always tend to keep our feet planted unless we're taking a step. We never slide our feet. So if you try it out on yourself, like I really recommend you, like if you try jumping, you will notice that your feet stay in the same exact place unless you step backwards or step forward. If you slide your feet, you're doing that on purpose. You're consciously thinking of it. If you don't think about it, your feet will stay completely like planted. So this one here, I'm taking the feet and I'm just going to trace it like so. So it looks like the body is kind of like folding over his feet. So to also give that depth. So now it really feels like he is bending his body. So I'm just going to fix this a bit more, the ears. You'll notice whenever I make anticipation or make follow-throughs, I'm following the last pose or the last position of where my ears were. So for example, you'll notice here, since the ears are here, my ears now, even though they're going the opposite direction, which is up, are still kind of following where they were before. So since it's here, I'm making it so that it is facing that way. So now if I play this, so now you feel like, or now your body, or not body, but your brain is already understanding what's going to happen next with just these 2 keyframes. So even if I removed this keyframe here, frame 15, your mind will still understand that there is about to be an action happening. So I'll actually change where this is. I'll change it to frame 9 probably. Or sorry, frame 5. So the action is, sorry, the frame 7. And I'm probably going to make this from frame 15 to frame 17 so I have more keyframes for my anticipation. So this is okay, guys. If you guys are not happy with the timing that you have, you can always change it. Like, it's not set in stone, especially here in the roughs portion of it. You can always change it. Okay, so somebody who has their mic on, it's echoing my voice. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the next part where it lands. So again, I can do different ways of it. However, I'm just going to actually use the anticipation. Once it hits the ground, it's the same. It's the same kind of frame or look as when it was the anticipation. So for here, I'm probably going to make this frame. Move that along. See, so for example, I don't really like that timing. I'm changing it to fit my wants. So I'm framing frame 27 is where I'm going to put this little drawing here. This time, I'm pasting it here. I'm cheating a little, guys. I'm trying to speed run this. But for roughs, really, I recommend just like drawing it again. Because I mean, you want to learn this stuff, so you want to be able to like draw more consistently. And to draw more consistently, guess what? You gotta practice. So I'm just tracing this part here. Of course, for the sake of class, I'm just copy pasting because I don't want to take too long, since we already went over these kinds of like roughs and things like that. Okay. There you go. So we have the rough kind of like what's going on or what's going to happen in this scene. However, next thing, the next thing we need really is the overshoot. So an overshoot is basically the main drawing or the main last keyframe, but exaggerated. Because in reality, when we jump or when we settle back to our main position, we kind of don't settle right away, especially if it's a really big action. For example, if I move backwards in, like, let's say I move backwards in my chair, you'll notice if I move like this, my chair bounces back. The more pressure, or the more pressure I apply, or the faster I move. For example, if I go like this, my chair bounces me back, and then I settle towards the main drawing. So I'm going to do that here, where if I jump, I'm going to anticipate, or I'm going to follow that action, and then overshoot my main action, and then I will settle down. So here, I'm going to actually move this more, so around frame 41. Frame 33 is where I will overshoot. And that's just taking this main drawing and then just exaggerating it a little bit more. Since the action is going upwards, my ears will go the opposite way. They will be going downwards. And there you go. So you'll see that by adding that simple extra keyframe, this overshoot frame, it's added that kind of dynamic movement that we needed in this animation. Are you guys following so far? This is just the main keyframes for the roughs. Guys, hello? Are you alive? Everybody alive? Okay, good. Good. So now we're going to do the in-betweens of this. So I'm just going to do this really quickly because I want to be able to see what the timing is going to look like. For particular, these kinds of animations where they have an air time and then they land, the timing for this would look similar to this. So for this particular one, it would look like there's more keyframes here. A bit more here as well. And then a bit more here. So there'll be extra timing here because we want the audience to register this action here, the one where it's in the air, or that air time, and then when it is falling towards or jumping towards the end. So it'd look like something like that. So something similar to this. Again, I can always change that. It's subject to change for when I am actually putting down the keyframes. So for example here, I'm going to start by just doing the main in-betweens. So just put that down. So here I'm just going to be drawing so you guys can talk to each other if you guys want, because this might take a bit. If you guys have any questions as well, you can just ask me and I will answer. It's quiet time. It is quiet time, guys. Someone play some ukulele or something. I don't know. Again, I apologize for my my voice. Yeah, no, it's not good. I literally like woke up for my nap and I'm like, oh no, my class. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you have a lot of drawings like this, or a lot of keyframes, like say for example, right now all I see is my first two ones, which is my first previous drawing and my first future drawing. However, if you have like let's say frames on, this is a bit more different than the drawing that like by drawings, because you'll see here you have like an option to make it longer. So this is not, I ideally don't use this because it's really hard to look at things per frame. So I make sure that it's by drawings. And so for me to not get confused about what I'm doing, this is always just in relation to the drawing that you're using now. So this frame is the next, or the previous frame. And then the next one is the future frame. And it's always in relation to the drawing you have selected. So for example, if I want to go to frame 5, or sorry, not frame 5, but the last keyframe, I can press 7 if I remember correctly. So that's not it. Or frame, sorry, not this. It should be future. So I'm not good at counting apparently. So it's only frame 4. Here you go. So frame 5 actually. So there, I'll be able to see this, but also able to see the other ones. So you can use these numbers to help you out if it gets a bit too confusing about which one you want to look at. So I'll add one more keyframe. So I'm moving it from frame 9. Just so that I have time to move that ear to get it to where I want it to be, or closer to that frame. It'll also give me that slow in that I'm kind of looking for, that really cushion into that motion. So when I say cushion, it just kind of means, it's another word for settle, which is, I mean, it's interchangeable, those two words. When I say cushion or settle, it means I'm just easing in into that next keyframe. So now this looks smoother. However, I want to add that overlapping action. Ma'am, I have a question. Do we still pass it? Yes, we do have to pass them as to Neo as well, because that's where I'll be grading. So the drive is just like a, like, dun yun ipapasa, tapos send nyo na lang siguro ng link what you've been doing before. Also, this is such a cute sad boy. Okay. So usually what I like to do for things like this where they have ears is like I add overlapping actions. So overlapping actions is basically just when our keyframe is staying the same, and then all of our follow throughs, things like that, are following or still moving. So we're just going to do that as well. So here, I'm just going to add another in between for this. So now this is looking pretty smooth. Now, just like the ball, we're going to need to have a so this one for sure, I'm just going to mark this as a breakdown, just so that I remember which one is which. Then I'm going to go in and do this. So just like the ball, when we had the ball, we had it when it touched the ground, it would have a contact pose. So it hit the ground first, and then once it hits that ground, so a contact pose is basically just the first frame that where it hits the ground, so or makes contact to the ground. So just like that, we're going to do the same, but in the opposite direction, where since it's lifting off, we're going to have a contact pose where he is still grounded on the ground, so his foot is still here, but he's still kind of stretching out. So he's moving his foot like so. So you'll see here that his foot is still very much grounded onto the floor. However, his body and everything else is starting to move upwards. So that's what a contact pose is, where it's still maintaining the ground on the ground. However, everything else is starting to move out. So contact poses are usually more in terms of if you're landing, because when you land, almost always your feet don't hit the ground at the same time. There's always one foot that ends going first. So again, if you try it out yourself and you jump, you will notice what I am talking about. So we're going to find that middle ground. Now I want to actually maintain my volume. So what's happening now, this is a bit too big. So I'm just going to reference that first keyframe that I have. I think that's frame 7. Yeah. So oops. There you go. So I can see this better. So I'm going to trace it a bit to be more like what goes here. So the main shape is kind of still there. So if he was standing upwards straight, this would be his main like form, I suppose. So now I'm just going to go back to here. Yeah, so you'll notice in this one, this one in particular, this one here, it's way too big. So I'm just going to resize it a bit so that it would fit properly to his size. So I just needed this for the reference in terms of how big it's going to be. But now I'm just going to fix it so that it follows that arc. First off, I'm going to tilt him. So just in my mind, I'm imagining that arc that I have. If you guys have a hard time imagining that, you can always make a new drawing, and follow that drawing with one, like let's say the arc here. So for me, I don't really need it. However, let's say for the sake of showing, I will show you guys that. So for example, this is just a reference. Here. So this is the reference for the arc. I can make it a bit more like so. There you go. So that's my arc. Again, you don't really need to do this unless you have a hard time visualizing where your arc is. So I have my foot just a bit up. So this one, just for the sake, again, for time's sake, I'm going to make this a bit, just going to copy it. But obviously, it's best always to draw it out. Sack boy, yeah. And then we'll do the same thing. So I'm just gonna move this around just because, again, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time for doing the roughs. Though the roughs is like one of the most important things, because if your roughs don't look good, that just means your cleanup will not look good as well. In production though, usually they don't do all of the in-betweens. Instead, they just do the main keys, and then of course they use those timing charts. That's why we have key pose animators, etc., etc. One moment. Okay. Then so here you go. So you'll notice I changed the keyframe here. So I made the ears really push backwards because it's still following that main action. So I'm just trying to yeah, that's the standard that we're going to use. If you want to use a mix, that's okay. However, I always recommend just starting out first with the 2 keyframes. That's because usually you do like mix animation with like ones if it's a really, really like fast action. Usually it's used for like action scenes, basically. Well, for the most part, everybody animates by 2s. Because it's always easy to start by 2s, and then if you want to have a breakdown of this, then you can go back and break those in-betweens down. And now this is where we're going to have that contact pose that I mentioned earlier. So here, the feet will touch the ground. So you'll notice that I am doing it where his foot, I'm taking into account where his feet are, and then that's where I'm going to start doing everything else. So that's where I'm basing this off of. Because if I try to do this without having in mind the foot, I'm going to have a kind of a hard time. He probably can if you try hard enough. If I turned off that guide for my so I can even add another drawing here just to make it really like slow down on the top. So this is if I remember correctly, this is the breakdown or the main key. I'm actually going to take this into account that it is a main key and then break this down further. Yeah, squash and stretch is still very hard to understand. But I think the best way is, again, just to like trace your original, or at least work near the original, so that you can kind of gauge whether or not it looks like it is squashing and stretching. When I first started out, it really getting that, again, just getting those squashing and stretching is really kind of hard, because you have to take into account the original shape and how it's folding back. Things like that. So don't be discouraged if you have a hard time in the beginning. It's just a bit of practice as well. So that's why I'm encouraging you guys to use to draw them out instead of copy pasting, because if you copy paste and you rely on it too much, you won't be able to understand the importance of why it's good to like be able to draw out. Yeah. Sack jump. How many frames? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as you're able to make it jump and make it look like it looks like it has weight, it has volume, everything that I was mentioning previously with the timing and everything. You can go crazy. You can make this as long as you want. You can make this as short. Obviously, you will not be able to achieve this kind of animation with just a few frames. Like, If you try to push it to just like 11, you would not be able to achieve this kind of animation. So that is just up to you, up to your discretion how many frames you want to use. I'm not going to limit you guys on that. So you can make him wave first at the camera, jump, or do like a turn while he's jumping, do a roll while he's jumping. That's up to you guys. This is just the basic. The one that I'm doing is just the bare minimum. So you'll notice now we have the main and actions. Everything is done. So we're just going to clean this up. Sackboy Platformer 1. I don't know, bros. So especially here, the volume is really noticeable. It really feels like he is squashing and stretching. You'll notice if I make this a different, if I were to play this and it was a different volume, you would notice it right away. Oopsies. So now that I have the roughs done, I'm going to do the CUIB, or the cleanup. So this is where we're going to add shadows and things like that. We're going to do it right away. We'll start it off. Like so. And we're just going to have a color, so I'm going to actually use a different green. This is a light green. And we're going to use that as our line for our here. So now that we have that, again, I'm going to use my pencil this time. So I haven't taught you guys how to use the line in particular, or the pencil in particular, to clean up. So when you're using the pencil to clean up, if you'll notice, if you try to just, oops, let me in, okay. If you try to just use it normally, if I turn on my K, like so, you'll notice that there is a lot of extra line here. For example, if I try to trace it like so, usually the tendency is you'll make multiple lines or multiple kind of traces like this. Like so. And what's going to happen is it's not going to work properly or close properly. So look, it looks okay here. However, if I use it, if I check the line itself, it's not closed or it's not clean. In order for us to use this or fix it, we're going to use this button here. So this is the line building mode. So what that does is when I make a line and then I make another line that's overlapping, it will automatically make it into one whole line. So this is really helpful for when you're like me and I have multiple lines, or I use multiple lines for my drawings. Well, there you go. That's it. So in order for us to toggle it, I can't speak anymore apparently. In order for us to toggle this, we're going to, instead of constantly clicking this, you can set a keyboard shortcut. So we're looking up line building mode. So line building mode, I have it as Z, just simple Z. So it's very easy to toggle on and off. So if I don't need it, I could just press Z and it will turn off. So like for example here, oopsies. Wow, wala nangyari. Ba't ayaw gumana? Wait, why is it not working? Legit. Anyways, to toggle it on and off, I have it as Z. Did I? Please. Line. Building. Yeah, so blind building mode is Z. The default is nothing. Duh, obviously. There. Yeah, so now when I press Z, so there you go. So if I press Z, it toggles on and off like so. Are you sick? Yeah, I did mention earlier that I am in fact sick. That's why I was a bit late to the meeting. Literally just 1 minute late because I was taking a nap. I am not feeling so good, guys. My mother was sick earlier this week, so I think she got me sick. I'm just gonna clean this up real quick. It's hard for me to do asynchronous because, again, I told you I just make all the materials while we go along, so that you guys know that I am in fact doing all this stuff with you guys. So that's how you get those clean looking lines, those crisp, juicy lines. Sometimes that happens to me when setting custom hotkeys. Yeah, so when that happens, if you have sometimes that happens. Well, yeah, so if that happens, just unset them and then set them again and it should work. So like just what I did where I unset it and then I set it again. Eight. So I'm just trying to fix this properly so it looks a bit better. Okay, so I'm happy with this. Now I'm going to plot out where I want that shading. So just like I mentioned before, when you're going to do shaded things, you need to plot that out first. You can't just add it on later, because if you do, it's going to look very wonky. It's going to jitter. So it's best if you start out with your first keyframe first to just have that out. So I'm using a different color for this. And it's okay kung lampas-lampas siya. Just make sure to close it like so. Or like these parts are closed. Like so. Oops. So that's what I like about Toon Boom. If you make a mistake or your line isn't as clean as you want it to be, you can always change it. It's never set in stone. Or for example, I actually don't want it to be there. I want it to be here. So this will also help flesh out that roundness that the character has. Like so. Yeah, so make sure to use the pencil tool. That's why it's very important. It's really, really useful. Once I found out how to properly use the pencil tool, that's how I've been using it for everything. There you go. So we have our main keyframe all plotted out, ready to go. And it looks more professional. Like, look at this. If your cleanup looks like this, yo. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Next thing, we're going to do the next keyframe. So I'm not really worried anymore about my consistency. If you are worried about your consistency. So this entire time, I've only been using it for cleanup, in between, etc., etc. My roughs are the only things that are using the brush. So this is what it's going to look like in the onion skin for now. So I'm going to just use, since I'm pretty happy with the what's that called, consistency in my drawing, I'm just going to make sure that I'm just going to trace this. But if you're not happy with the consistency that you've been using, or the consistency that you made, you can always just trace your original and then, of course, modify it to what you need. So for now, I'm just going to keep it like so. I'm very happy with it. So obviously, for this whole session, I'm not going to do the whole like in-betweens, just so that it doesn't take too long, because it will take a pretty long time, since I do have to think about, again, where to plot out the shadows, things like this. So highlights as well work the same. If you have highlights in your drawing, you have to make sure that you plot that out as well. That's okay. So to make the invisible drawing lines, you simply use stroke, and you have to make sure that the show strokes is on. So press K, and then you can do that. So I don't use that for when I'm doing, for example, those shadows, because it is hard to see where it is. I mean, that's up to you if you want to use the pencil as well for your sketches. For me, I don't really, I like the feel of the brush when I do those, like when I do the sketches on their own. So I'm just, okay, for this, guys, I'm probably just going to do the main keyframes just so that hindi tayo tumagal. It's going to be, it'll probably take me about an hour to do everything with the cleanup, or with the color as well. So I'll just do the main keyframes colored and everything. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Usually I end up just going back on my word and drawing every single frame. So once I'm done again with those main lines, I'm going to go in and use my shading. So this, again, I don't really use the strokes for this, just so that it's easier to what's that called? To watch out for those stuttering lines or jittering lines, because if you have stroke, you can't really see it unless you have this on. Whereas if I have the green on, and usually that's why as well, other productions have that. If I have the green on and then I'm watching this over and over again, I can see where those lines need editing. So that's why they use different colors first before they actually fill everything in. It's just so that they can monitor whether or not the shading looks fine. Are you okay, bro? Are you okay, guys? Someone vomiting over there? So honestly, you don't really need to clean this up. This is just for me. Like, for example, I really like the way it looks when it's all like tidied up. For example, this one earlier, I didn't really have to clean it, but that's just for me. Like, I don't like the way it looks when it's not clean. If, say, you don't want to draw it anymore, you can always just do that as well. Like, there's so many ways you can do this. You don't have to stick to just one thing. For example, there. I didn't draw. I made one line and then just manipulated that line to make it look how I want. Again, I'm going to draw this shading line like so. Yes, so when I'm finished this, I'll show you guys later, but when I finish it and I'm done with it and I color it in and everything, I just hide it by turning the opacity to 0. So it's hidden, it's gone. So that's usually what they do for like most of the stuff. Most of the shaded things. There you go. So now we have our main keyframes. Well, our two main keys. And I'm going to go into the third one, like so. And again, I'm going to do the same process where I clean up first with the black lines. So this is like ASMR. Honestly, when I watch people clean up, I get very sleepy. Yeah, stay awake, guys. People who fall asleep, when you wake up, this is going to be done, and you're going to be very confused. Oh, you guys, that's sweet. So I didn't make a new keyframe. Dum-dums. I drew on the wrong thing. It's okay. I can just copy paste it. It's nothing. Cutter tool. Yeah, just copy paste it out of sight, out of mind. Now again, going on those onion skin is your friend on this one. So I'm just using this as a reference. Oops. If I notice here as well, this should be like this. Then I'm back into action. Now back to the original drawings. So shading also just brings in depth to your drawing. But again, it's usually not used because, I mean, you have to shade it. You have to do every single frame. I mean, you'll see it a lot in anime though, because they are very detailed in the terms of like still frames. How do you delete the extra points again in the pencil? So if you have extra points like so, let's say, sorry, hold up. I saw something that's not closed. Let's say here, I want to delete this this extra point. I just press delete. Make sure that you select it first, and then just, yeah, move it along, and then that's it. Very simple. It looks very complicated, I guess, but it's very easy. No problem. Yeah, the green is for the shading, guys. As I've mentioned earlier, whenever you do shading, you always have to take into account, like, you have to do it first. You have to actually plan for it. Like, you can't just add it on later, because jittering will happen. So you do not want that to happen. No, no, no. Bad jitters. Don't want jitters on your keyframe. So we have our main keyframes. Soft shading is possible in this software. However, it's a bit more complicated, Alexi. And I'm not going to be teaching that yet. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if we have time. But for now, I'm just going to focus on just like the animation aspect. Okay, so we have that. We have our main keys. Now we're going to do the in-betweens of it. So I'm just going to do the anticipation stuff. So the main breakdowns first. And then we'll see if I have time to do every single breakdown, like so. I'll probably focus just on the end, the fronts and the ends, just so that you guys can see the overlapping actions that we have. So I'm going to turn that back on. And then I'm going to start cleaning it up again. Okay, using this boop. Now this is where we start to trace our original feet. So you'll notice that's the first thing I do, because the feet need to be staying in the same place throughout the whole animation. So yes, you do. You do. We're going to be having shading for this one. Because, again, it adds to the depth of the character. It's very hard to portray in terms of, like, for just here. It's obvious, but then we're just trying to put emphasis on the way that the sack is shaped. He thick. This sack thick. There you go. So we have that main drawing, and again we're going to put, so you'll notice here the feet look like they're staying in the same exact spot, except for this one, of course. It's kind of like jittering. So I'm just going to fix that by changing the way that this is shaped real quick. Because I don't want that jitterbug. Jitterbug. Got the bomb into my brain. Jitterbug into her. Yeah, that could have hurt your eyes a little. Oh yeah. Chonky. Chonky. So we're gonna put that shading again. Leave him alone. No body shaming here. He's trying his best, okay? Yeah, full of love. That's what FAT stands for. Full of love. Full of love. The T is silent. He fat. Yeah, fat as in full. Full. Ab. Lab. Why does it remind you of the Yellow Crewmate? I've never played Among Us, guys. Never in my life. So, I mean, I know what it is. I've seen Let's Plays of it, but I've never, like... Yes, it is. So the green shade will be where we're going to be put... Yeah, the green is going to be where we put our shade. And where we want, you know, the colors to be, basically. So now we have that keyframe down. Yeah, work it, girl. So you'll notice that how I get kind of picky in terms of how it looks. So this is again just like once you've been doing this for a really long time or get into the groove of animating it, you'll see those like tiny mistakes that you make and you'll fix it along the way. For example here, like that. Yes, it was, because I don't know why. So we'll have 2 more breakdowns to do, and then I can move on. So I'm gonna be doing what's called a program remove. Are you guys okay? What's happening? Alexandra, you have a question? Or you just turned on your mic for... She's giving us folly noises. What's happening? Oh my gosh. Are you okay? Perfectly cut screams. There you go. There's a programmer moment. My spaghetti's falling. My spaghetti's falling out of my pocket. Yeah, I'm not sure. Alexandra, are you okay? What's happening? Yeah, pro gamer move right there. Copy paste it. But of course, the feet are not the same. So I'm just going to make sure that the feet are the same here by calling the cat, apparently. That's what I do. Yep. Yeah, go ahead if you want. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. No problem. This boy looking thick, though. Thanks for the... It's not Kerbo, unfortunately. We're no longer going to be using Kerbo, bros. Big sad. We've graduated from... Yeah, we will. In memory of Kerbo. We'll make him pink. There you go. So we have one. But of course, we're missing that shade in, so we're going to put that shade in on again, especially on the feet. So, he doing it. He doing it, bros. Yeah, we're just going to be doing the sack, dudes, so you don't have to think about it. Just think about what you're going to make it do, if anything. Yeah, if you want to make him do a backflip, go ahead. Well, I mean, you're going to have to be animating the kick, like the person, the foot, and then it's not really a jump anything. That's like more of an impact thing. Well, I mean, that's a lot of stuff you need to do. I mean, go ahead if you want to go crazy, sure. The minimum is just make him jump. He flexing on us right now. Guys, they flexing on us. they're really out here flexing on us. So another in between. So I'm just going to so I don't take too much time. I'm just taking some of the parts. I would have redrawn this, honestly, guys, but it's gonna take me a while to redraw. So I'm being a dirty cheater. Man, dirty cheater, guys. Just redraw it, okay? Redraw it. That's me. That's mine. That's mine, guys. Don't get mad, please. I'm using the... It's my OC. Please don't steal. Y'all have health? No, don't cheat. That's not allowed. That's allowed. That's not allowed. So there we go. We have our main keyframes. You guys want me to do the in-betweens of it? I can do some of them just to show you the overlapping action. For example, let's just focus on the beginning part of it, because I'm not going to do all of it just because it will take very, very long. Very, very long. So we're just going to go like so. I'm trying it again. Okay. Cut. And fold. Bean Boy. Mr. Bean Boy. Bring me some bean. Bum 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 bum. Make it the greeniest bean that I've seen. I don't know what's going on anymore. Domo. Yeah, sure. Domo. Oh my god, that's such a 2000s, like. Those Domo bags. Yo. Go for it. Go crazy, bro. An icon. 2000s icon. Honestly, fashion hit its peak when we had the Domo bags. And I want to convert the not alive. With the... Yeah, it can be a pillow. It can be anything you want. As long as it's, you know, similar to the sack, honestly. That's okay with me. Yes, it does. You need to do that for the follow through. That's only the really, like, the real requirement. Yeah, go ahead if you want to have him have a face, sure. You know what? I don't want to do that. I'm too lazy. I can't add it. Make him have a tiny face? Sure. Go crazy, guys. Have fun. Yes. Yeah, we did. We heard you like perfectly timed screams. It's okay. Yeah, you sound like you fell or something. I don't know. What happened to you? Well, this is just gonna be me cleaning up real quick, and then so this is as quick as I can go, guys. Cleanup does take a while, so. Do, 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 do. Do. Cleanup is my least favorite one, honestly, because it takes so much time. I like doing the roughs. The roughs are fun because I don't have to commit. There you go. So we're doing the ears. So for Christmas, we'll never get that. That's made in Toon Boom. It's made in Toon Boom. I've seen the rigs for that. It's pretty good. Wander over yonder. Season 3 was the... What was that one? I'm trying to remember. Aw, that goth mommy. I'm right. We'll just cut that out of the recording, guys. Just kidding, no. It's fine. It's not that bad. What was your favorite Mario games, guys? I know what mine was. What about y'all? Everyone else? Yo, see, me and Bella, same. Super Paper Mario was my fave. I was so mad at my sister because she the police are coming because of your bad takes, guys. Just kidding. It's gone now. Sorry. Yo, what is happening outside right now? I cannot. I played it on the Wii. The super. I don't know. I've never played it. I never got into it. Fighting games are not my thing. Harvest Moon Kid. I was a Animal Crossing kind of gal. Like, duh. Duh. New Horizons are good, pretty good. I mean, it's the new one is pretty like accurate to what you pretty much do with the old ones. Yeah, with better graphics. But like there is an Animal Crossing I remember, like they would bully you. They would get so mad at you. Yeah, they would smack talk you, bro. Yeah, they would smack talk you. Yeah. No bullying, bros. Uh, oh, I got Pokemon Dungeons, but I haven't played it yet. I have it on the Switch. I've never played it before though. It was just my boyfriend's. I stole it from him. It's mine now. Ow, ow, who's that? So this is gonna take a while. This will take a long time. Yeah, I'll show the coloring process because it's just everything is basically the same over and over again. I probably can do the end part real quick because it's just like the same frame, but like manila. Words won't come out of my mouth, apparently. It's not good. I don't know how to do sign language. I can do thank you. Thank you. Whoa, bro. I didn't know that. How'd you do that? How'd you do that? How'd you know that? I can't believe this. So I'm just doing this real quick, just because. That's in the. They do have a mall jail, though. So there you go. I did the end part is pretty clean. I just, again, it will take me a really long time. That took me like 15 minutes just to get everything done, and I did like the copy paste version of it. If I were to do the drawing of it, it will take me a lot more time. So I'm just going to stop for a while. It's already 4:30, so I want to be able to finish this real quick. Get to the color process just to show you guys what that looks like, because the in-betweens is basically the same thing as, you know, everything else that we've been doing, except the only really difference is we have shading now. Anyway, yeah, shading yet. We're going to do the shading yet now. So just like I taught you guys before, we're going to select press Alt A to apply to all frames, then press this little button here, very handy. And then we're going to get a color. Make a new color, make it pink. This button here, apply line art and color art, yeah. And then we're going to make a pink color in memory of Kerbo. We will no longer be seeing him. And now we're just going to fill these in. So as for the most part, it works pretty well. Like, obviously there's some parts that they don't fill in very well. For example here. But, you know, for the most part, it's already finished. Like, I don't have to think about too much on my coloring part. So now let's go to my shades. This is where I'm going to turn off my apply all frames. Alt A. And then I'm going to go in on these extra parts. So I'm going to use paint unpainted just so that it's easier. And then I'm going to paint unpainted, paint unpainted, paint unpainted. It's not that hard. There you go. So now we're just going to do each and every individual frame. I want that, but Gengar one. I saw the Gengar one, and honestly, I want it. I might buy it. So, I don't care. I love Gengar. I stan him. Is that the word? Is that the word, stan? I stan him. Sim? More like sim. Who's Poyoing? Yeah, please don't do it. Don't do it. Sad boy moments. Sad boy moments. No sad boys here, sorry. No. No. Sad boys are different. They're different. Wait, Lama. I'm just going to fill this in real quick. We'll do that in a moment, guys. Chill. Okay, to delete this, I simply hold U and then click. So obviously that did the whole thing, but I just oh my god. So just pressing U. I should get a soundboard. That makes me happy. I want to get a soundboard. That's me. That's my soundboard, guys. The rooster. Miss, what do you click when you drop color drop? Okay, so M has a good question. To color drop, you simply hold D and then click. Well, that ain't it. This is now like most programs. Just hold D. Yeah, Toon Boom really hit different. So my lines aren't closed. I'm just trying to close them real quick so I don't have to worry about them. But like, make sure your lines are closed, guys. Just rule of thumb, so that you don't have to keep doing this like I'm doing. Big sad. I would have been done already if these are closed. I don't need a soundboard. I got my chicken, bro. Yeah, see? They agree. It's like always perfectly timed, too. See? Like, every other sentence, they just like... Me and that chicken, bro. Me and that rooster. Me and that rooster, we best friends. Every time I'm recording something, they just go off, bros. Don't matter what time it is, 6 p.m. or later or earlier, it don't matter. It's my neighbor's chicken, but might as well be the whole neighborhood's chicken by the way it just like goes off. Can we eat it? Yeah, send him over. There you go. Okay, so okay guys, I finished my coloring just real quick. Yeah, coloring doesn't take too long, especially if it's not too complicated. Obviously, if there was more things to color, I would have taken a bit longer. So now what we're going to do, since we don't need that green line anymore, we're just going to turn it off by just turning the opacity to 0, and there you go. We're done. Yep, I'm in multiple frames. This is wrong. Whatever. I'm not gonna try to fix this. It looks okay from afar. Again, I would have fixed it if I had like more time and also more health. My health bar 0 right now, -5. So obviously this would look way more smoother if I did like finished it up with all of my keyframes. But I mean, at least the end part looks pretty smooth. So this is like a preview of what we could have had, what could have been. So the activity for this is just make him jump and have some shading on him, and that's it. This can just be, it could just be like this jump. It does have to be from left to right. It can do whatever you want. Again, he can do like a barrel roll, whatever you want, as long as he's jumping, and you guys can show that follow through. No, it needs to be side to side because I want you guys to be able to convey that follow through. So this activity is for follow through, yeah. So there you go. So this is like due next week, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, let me check. Yeah, because we. So this is 5, 6. So no. So we'll don't worry, next week we're going to be expounding on this. So I'm going to be adding more things. Hopefully by next week I'll finish this real quick. It's just a few more keyframes. And then we'll be expounding on it, like adding more things for overlapping and stuff like that. For example, I could add like a tail for him, make him a furry. A little curbo for... Yes. So, yeah. So start the roughs. Get the animation down first. So whenever you're doing roughs, just make sure it doesn't have to be clean. It really just has to be like, you have to have the thought, like what you want to happen needs to be, the action needs to be there. Like for me, I don't really make my roughs clean at all. This is pretty rough, bros, already. Yeah. This actually police. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It was actually outside, guys. Oh man, I finished all my white rabbit, but I could have like, dang, I want my white rabbit. So, does anybody have any questions about the activity? Activity again is just like, get the roughs down first before we do all of the cleanup and stuff like that. So get the rough downs first, get them clean, and then you guys can send the progress, like your work in progress, to me, so I can see it. So if you guys want help, usually I can make roughs, but like if I'm too busy, I might not be able to. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so this is next week. Next week, chill. 2 weeks from now, just chill. But today, pretty chill, don't worry. I have trouble drawing because my hand wobbly without the stabilizer. Yeah, I usually have the stabilizer on. I just have it on 15 because my hand's pretty wobbly as well. It's not that steady, but I still like having that assist so that's not too like wobbly. Well, you guys should do that first. So yeah, you guys might want to do that first because yeah, we can just send, you can send the refs here, or you can DM me if you don't want to show everybody. No, it's this one. It's this one. That's it. So you can make it any kind. You can make it a pillow. You can make it, like somebody said, domo if they wanted to. As long as they have the ears, you can add it on. Doing the ball right now. Yeah. No, no, we're not doing humans yet. We're doing that on the 7th week. Hmm? I don't know. You guys are trying. You guys are. Just make a sack, man. Just make a sack, man. Don't make it too hard on yourself, guys. How can I retweet that statement? What is this? Anyway, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, we are done for today. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully I'm better. We'll see though. I can't be sick. I have so many jobs to do. So recently I actually took up another job. Today I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick today. Like, it's starting, so I'm like drinking biofluid before it's happening. Yeah, hopefully. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to stop the recording.